guys, it's Graham here. Wait. Hi friends, welcome back to the Avocado Toast Budget. If you are new here, my name is Lexa, and as you can probably already tell, today we are going to do a reaction video to Graham Stephan's appearance on CNBC's Make It's Millennial Money. Whew. The reaction videos I have done thus far have all been Dave Ramsey, so I wanted to switch it up a little bit and do a different kind of reaction video that was a little bit more laid back and fun, but was still on a pretty prominent member of the personal finance community. So today I will be reacting to living on $1.6 million a year in Los Angeles. Wait for it. Millennial money. And this is not a Graham Stephan video. It's just a video that Graham Stephan is in, but it is originally from CNBC. They have this Millennial Money series. Basically, they just take millennials that live in different cities with different incomes and spending habits and kind of break down what that looks like. So, fun fact, when I was getting into the personal finance community, Graham Stephan was actually one of the first people I found on YouTube that I hadn't heard of before that was part of this community that I felt like kind of gave a different perspective from that normal Dave Ramsey narrative. And I mean, let's be honest here, we all know I'm not the biggest fan of rich white men giving people personal finance advice, but I really do think that Graham, even though there are some things that we disagree with, that's gonna be like with anyone else in the world, I do like his perspective. I like his take on personal finance, and really I just like his vibe. I really enjoy watching his videos. You probably already know who he is, but if you don't, Graham Stephan got his start by being a real estate agent, then eventually investing in real estate, and then he started talking about investing in real estate on YouTube, and now that is one of his biggest streams of income. Now he has multiple channels, a podcast, shit tons of YouTube followers, and he is known as the young millionaire on YouTube who does the Millionaire Reacts videos, who got his Tesla for free, and drinks 20-cent iced coffee. I have got my 20-cent iced coffee here, and we are ready to go. But in true Graham Stephan fashion, don't forget to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And okay, enough with the Graham Stephan references. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I always believed that that I would be a millionaire, and I think originally my goal was to try to hit that by 30. Ended up surpassing that by a decent amount.
Okay, right off the bat, now that we're only a few seconds in, I just want to say I think that it is really awesome that he met his financial goals so early in life, especially because he talks about the fact that he didn't go to college, he didn't take the standard working a 9-to-5, moving your way up in society approach, and he is still successful and still living out his dreams, and I think that that is really amazing and really inspiring.
My name is Graham Stephan, I'm 29 years old, I make $1.6 million per year, and I live in Los Angeles, California. And welcome to, wait for it, Millennial Money. My mortgage is just over $2,800 a month. The market value of the other unit next to me is about $2,500 a month. Then between the equity I get and the tax write-offs from using the garage as my office, it basically works out to be a free place for me to live.
So that is really cool. What he is referring to here is often called house hacking, and it's the idea that you own a multi-unit or multi-family home. So that is often a duplex or a whole apartment building, and there are a bunch of different variations of that, but basically you own that, you live in part of it, and then you rent out the other part or parts. And therefore, by having someone rent out the other parts of that unit, you become their landlord, you have taken on the mortgage, but most of the time you can cover at least a good chunk of your mortgage, if not all of it. And in his case, he mentions that most of his mortgage is covered by renting out the other unit, but then some of it, the rest of it, is covered by his tax write-offs that he gets from obviously filming in part of his house. He can write that off since he's a YouTuber, and then also from, I'm guessing, tax write-offs that he gets through California. This is a really popular method if you are wanting to live for free, but you don't want to spend your entire life waiting until you can pay for a house in cash. Keep in mind, with this method though, you are still a landlord, you are still responsible for that mortgage. You would never want to take a mortgage on that you couldn't pay for in the case that you didn't have any tenants in those available apartments or units. If you want to know more information about it, I know that Sarah from the Budget Girl here on YouTube talks about that a lot. She is someone who house hacks. She's, I believe, looking for another unit right now to add to her streams of income, and she's really relatable. I like her a lot, and I will leave her channel down below as well. Liz and I have actually talked about doing this possibly in the future. This is like the only way we would ever be homeowners is if we were also basically getting free rent from it, because we don't really want to be homeowners. Just owning a home wouldn't bring a lot of value to us, but if it were something like this where we were owning a home, yes, we had to be landlords, but we also got free rent out of it, then it could be worth it.
So I spend about $200 a month on groceries, and I do price shop between grocery stores. I'll kind of make the rounds and just stock up on whichever item is the cheapest at which store.
Okay, so in true Graham fashion, let's break down this budget really quick. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I already know from watching him that he is really frugal. There's probably not gonna be much to pick apart in this budget, and that's not the point of this reaction video anyway, but I still think it'll be fun to break down his monthly spending budget. So when I say this guy is frugal, I mean like really frugal. Like, I think he's in the middle of explaining here that he eats like eggs with cheese and cereal and 20-cent iced coffee. And that's like what he survives on, and then half off sushi every once in a while with his girlfriend. But he is someone who has really learned to cut back. So let's go ahead and break down his budget, see what he spends his money on. As you can see in this pie, mortgage, that's a big chunk of this, but as he had said literally just a few seconds ago, all of that, if not most of it, is covered by renters and also tax write-offs. That $632 for transportation seems pretty high, especially because I'm pretty sure that's basically just his car payment for his Tesla. But I also know that he made a video talking about how he gets his Tesla basically for like free. So I don't think that it's actually ending up costing him that much. But if it did, if he didn't figure out how to get his Tesla for free, that would be like a pretty hefty car payment. And of course, things like insurance, food, miscellaneous, those all seem pretty low and pretty typical, especially for living in LA, where I know the cost of living is really high. I'm really impressed with those numbers. Now, personally, I cannot possibly fathom spending $220 a month on a gym. I can barely justify my $20 a month on my Planet Fitness membership, but I know that he has talked about before that he pays this amount because he actually goes to the gym. He really finds a lot of value in it, and I think that's awesome. I'm all about investing in things that bring joy and value to your life. Again, personal finance is not all about completely cutting out every extra expense. It is all about making sure that your money is bringing the most value to your life, and it is helping you reach your financial but also personal goals as well.
I refuse to spend money on two things. Number one, I think everyone knows, is coffee. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, the markup of coffee at Starbucks and Coffee Bean and a lot of those places out there, so I just make it at home for 20 cents.
Okay, I do drink coffee at home a lot. I buy cold brew. It's definitely probably not 20 cents because I don't make my own cold brew. I can't rely on myself to make my own cold brew. And we all know that I love my Starbucks coffee, and that is something that does bring value to my life, but I do think that that's awesome that he has figured out that that didn't bring any value to his life, and he has found ways to cut back in other ways. That way he can spend more money on the things that do bring him value. He can carry on with his $200 gym membership. I will carry on with my expensive coffee every once in a while.
So I end up saving about 99% of my income just because my income is so high and I keep my expenses so low, and most of the properties just kind of like pay for my living expenses, so.
Okay, I'm sorry, but did anyone else notice that he like tapped the fake lemon? Anyway.
Anything else I make is really just seen as a bonus, and I save and invest it.
So what he has managed to do here is avoid lifestyle inflation, which if you follow me on Instagram, I had talked about this earlier in the week or last week sometime. Lifestyle inflation often occurs when our salary or our income increases, and so does our cost of living. This can happen through justifying renting a bigger apartment or a nicer apartment, getting a bigger car payment, or just generally spending more money because you have extra income. So then what happens is, instead of what we hope that will happen, is we make more money and therefore we can save more money and then hopefully retire in a better situation or spend that money on like vacations or whatever it is that we want. We end up spending it on like the day-to-day things, and we get used to living that way. But by avoiding that, by remaining frugal and still kind of living life the same way that he did, he is able to save most of that extra income rather than spending it.
I'd always wanted to do it, but I also felt like, who would want to watch me? And I felt like I didn't have the personality for it, and I just felt like, you know, I should probably postpone it, but I just made a video one day, spur of the moment. It was a slow open house, and I just filmed with my iPhone, the selfie side, just talked about how I got started in real estate. And that was such a fun experience, and I remember that video getting like 9 or 10 views, and just being like, oh my god, like 9 people have seen this video. So I started making more videos, and once I started doing about 2 videos a week, just the growth really just exploded, it seemed like.
So that is really amazing. I mean, as like a YouTube content creator, I love hearing about people's success stories, especially because I feel like there's this like weird dichotomy where when I talk to, it seems like, the younger millennials and then Gen Z, we grew up with YouTubers, or at least grew up with YouTube. So I feel like it's a little bit more normalized, and like even people talk about like wanting to be YouTubers in that kind of like generation and age. But when I tell older millennials or people older than that what I do for a living, it usually is met with like blank stares and confusion, and even like some pushback and this weird idea that it's like not a real job. So I just think that it is really awesome to see a millennial who is making it and loving what he does and excelling at it.
I would say 99.9% of the comments are so positive and so supportive. I absolutely love them, and it really feels like a sense of community. Then you get some funny ones. The negative comments, at this point, I'm so used to them. Then after a while, I think I realized that it has more to do with them and their own problems that they portray onto you than it does about you.
Why are you licking the couch? Can you not? Can you just lay down, please? Do you see that we're in the middle of something? Yes, thank you. Okay, yes, I absolutely agree with everything he said about the comments. I think especially when you first get started putting yourself out on the internet and you first start to get like those more negative, and not even like valid negative critiques or criticism, but like just hate comments, it can really start to bring you down, and you can start to take it personally. And I love what he said about this idea that it says a lot more about the person who is writing it than it says about you. I have been living by the mantra from the start that well-adjusted people do not make fun of others on the internet.
So since I've always been self-employed, I've never had a formal like 401k, but I do have a SEP 401k. I've thrown some money in there at the end of the year, just if it's left over, just as a hedge. But then as far as savings are concerned, I always like to...
Okay, so I want to focus on like this pie. This is like mind-blowing. The idea of making $150,000 a month is just like overwhelming. That is obviously like a shit ton of money, but I think that it is so interesting and really cool to see that he used to make most of his money obviously being a real estate investor, and with YouTube that has just like completely switched. I mean, $80,000 a year, no, not even a year, a month. $80,000 a month from probably just AdSense is incredible. I do think that a lot of people see these numbers and they think that like that's what they can expect from becoming a YouTuber, which obviously if you get as big as he is, that's totally possible. But to be more realistic, I have filmed a couple videos talking about like how much I make on my channel. I will post them here and then also down below just to like give you some reference if you are wanting to be a content creator. Don't let these numbers make you feel bad about yourself if you're not anywhere close to them, because 99% of us aren't.
Very much like it gives you a little jolt there.
Ah, okay, here is the Tesla that I was talking about.
So I bought my Tesla in April of 2019. You get so many rebates back for it. The financing is so cheap. Everything that went on with the car, I calculated that it was going to cost me $78 a month out of pocket net in the first year, not counting the opportunity cost of then having all the money left over that I could then go and reinvest. So I figured like depreciation is going to be minimal. I'm going to get some really great tax write-offs from it. So it's going to almost be a free car. And I figured like, oh, you know, that's the video I'm going to make. Then that video ended up getting now almost 6 million views. I think the total cost of the car with everything, all out the door with taxes and like all of the options, everything was like 44 grand. So I ended up making money from getting the car.
Honestly, even the amount of money that he probably just made making that one YouTube video on getting his Tesla for free probably paid for like 5 to 10 Teslas, if not more. And just from like the AdSense on that one video, not to mention the fact that that really grew his channel and really helped to boost his numbers very quickly, which he'll continue to make money off of for as long as YouTube exists. So I would say probably like hands down, that's probably like one of the best investments he made was that Tesla. I want a Tesla. I'm very jealous. I think that that is really cool.
like 2 or 3 pasta noodles, so I think we did pretty good.
So I have an amazing girlfriend, and her and I share a lot of the same values in terms of saving and spending money, and I find it fun that she is just as frugal as I am, so we can have a great time trying to figure out, like, where is the best happy hour spot, and, like, how we could save a little bit more money doing this. And she's the one, too, that's also very encouraging of, like, we don't have to go out tonight to happy hour sushi. She doesn't sound like that, by the way, but she encourages me to, like, you know, we could go cook food at home, or instead of going out to see a movie, we could just pop something on Netflix. So one of the things we actually do when we go out is we will end up just splitting a meal, because usually I'm not hungry enough to eat the entire thing myself, and neither is she. So we could basically get food for 2 by paying for 1. It's really cool to have someone in your life like that who I see as just being an equal on every single level with the same mindset.
Shout out to Graham's girlfriend. We love to see it. But I love that he said equal on every level. Yes, yes, thank you. See, to all of the people who come in my comments on my Dave Ramsey videos and tell me that I just have it out for like white men, not all white men. And it's just really cute to see like his smile and how happy he seems. That's awesome.
Okay, I know it sounds weird too, but I do end up rewarding myself every now and then at McDonald's from the dollar menu. And I don't ever eat McDonald's, but I just decided to go just because it was there and I was really hungry. I had 2 of the double cheeseburgers from the dollar menu, and it was so good that now it gets to the point where I will purposely use that as an incentive to get all my work done, and if I'm able to do that before like midnight, I go and get the 2 double cheeseburgers. It's not something that happens too often, but it does become this thing where it's like, that's my treat.
That is great. The idea of finding little ways to incentivize yourself to get things done or accomplish goals is really like what I am all here for. Like I have talked about on my channel, you don't have to spend all of your money at Starbucks or all of your money at eating out, but I think that there's a balance to be had, and I love this idea, whether it's a couple of McDoubles or a Starbucks here and there or whatever it is that you find joy in, to treat yourself and also to use as like incentivized to get your work done or reach your goals is really great. And this way you don't have to blow your entire budget, but you are still treating yourself and enjoying those things that bring you joy.
So in terms of net worth goals, I really don't have any, and I have no desire of becoming a billionaire. I don't even know what I would possibly do with that amount of money. I would like to hit 10 million. I feel like that would be just a decent number. The only thing I really want to do is travel, that I haven't done. That's the only thing.
Okay, so I actually really appreciate that he mentioned that he doesn't have that goal of wanting to become a billionaire. I've talked about this on my channel and definitely talked about this on my Instagram about how like that is not my goal, is to like make a bunch of billionaires, and that I don't really see of an ethical way to become a billionaire. So I really like that he has this mindset of cutting back in places he doesn't care about in order to maximize the money that he is making, not just trying to acquire as much money as he possibly can at any means possible. I think that's really important, and honestly, with as like big as he has gotten, I think that it's very hard to like kind of keep that mindset, not only of like frugality, but also of just kind of being realistic with your money and trying to see the whole picture and not going to any extent possible to make more money. And I think that this video brought up a really good conversation about like lifestyle inflation and leveraging your money to do what works for you, spending money on the things that you value. And yeah, I really liked it. So that is it for the video. That is pretty much all I have to say. I really hope that you enjoyed and you learned something cool. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, helps boost this video to the top. That way more people can find this content, and I will see you all next time. Bye.